And we are back to a very special virtual Between the Cheeks Boss Bus Fiasco Extravaganza with the original Third Cheek himself, the producer, great friend, and now Oregon liver. We have the one, Drew Schettler. How you doing tonight, Drew?
Oh, I'm doing great. I'm better than I deserve, that's for sure. Thanks for having me between your cheeks. I'm ready.
Yeah.
This is
Oh,
awesome.
man.
How are you guys?
Can't complain too much, just getting through the motions, figuring it out, stuff like that.
Pretty much just working, musicking occasionally, but it is nice to have a cheek between the cheeks. You're one of the founding. You will always be a cheek, and now we have you stacked like a Big Mac.
Big Mac with 3 buns.
Yep,
Yeah,
Nice.
it works.
it's good to see you, man. Well,
Yeah,
first
good
off,
meeting you.
how's Oregon? How was you moved to Oregon? How is it?
Yeah, I moved to Oregon like 8 or 9 months ago, and so far it's been pretty awesome. I just I work full time on a farm with some pretty cool guys, and my off time, I make music with them. I go out into like nature. The West Coast is beautiful. Like I've been going to like the redwoods and just like on hikes around my neighborhood and stuff. And it's really like, I don't know, it's really surreal that like the place that I live is just like this beautiful. I've never been to Oregon before, like coming out here to live here. And I think I got lucky, you know? So it's been great.
A good way to look at it is always that there's, being able to appreciate it. Because a lot of people, they just, especially if they live there for a bit or they don't really recognize like the magic of it or the uniqueness of that experience, especially like growing up in like somewhere like, I think that coming from a place like Nebraska is good for that because we're so used to being fucking landlocked and flat and no trees and nothing like that. And so that culture shock is very beneficial to, I feel like it's easier for us to appreciate it than other people.
Yeah, for sure. Like not to slam on Nebraska or anything, but it's nice that I wasn't like born and raised in too pretty of a place because now I can just like go and move anywhere and I'm like, whoa, this is amazing, you know?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. That's the dream, is being able to understand it like that. That's awesome. I'm glad you're doing well so far. Like what kind of music are you guys making out there? Like what's the stuff you guys are helping out with?
well, I'm doing my own personal projects. I'm trying to make enough music that I could eventually like make an EP or an album. And that's kind of like an electronic-y, like indie sort of pop inspired project with like psychedelic sort of like influences. But I'm also collaborating with a friend of mine named Dylan. He's making metal songs for his band, who's like out in Nashville right now waiting for him to come and record. And it's been nice to just like help him with a genre that I have no experience in and like work together and like kind of learn from each other. So that's been pretty cool. And then every now and again, like, I don't know, we just get like big jam circles together where we get all of our acoustic instruments and kind of like just work on grooves. I think we might like work on a few cover songs too down the line, like open mic it or something. But yeah, music has not stopped. I've taken it with me out here.
That's all you can ask for. That's the dream.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's awesome to hear. That's cool, that crossover between like the style of music that like you're used to making too, like, and then just metal. Like I feel like that'll help like both of you too, because there's so many similarities between metal and like electronic music, especially in terms of like drops. There's breakdowns, like crazy drums. There's that in both.
But then you also have like the unique angles of looking at things. So like they have like a pattern of how these things go, and you coming from a different angle could be like, well, what if you do this instead? And you're like, wait, you can. And like that
Mhm.
kind of like blend is fun to have and beneficial for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, he's really taught me a lot about like musicianship too. Because if we're talking about like metal music, something that I didn't realize until I got close to him is like it's really like all about like virtuosity or virtuosity. Is that a word? Like being a virtuoso. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah. So it's more
metal
about like
musicians are
innate
really
talent
talented.
rather than
They have
like
to keep an energy going and like get crazy spirit. Like, and he's a great drummer and guitarist. So I've really just been learning a lot about musicianship and like trying to dial that in.
when you talk about like virtuoso, you're talking about like innate talent or more like is it more just how he sees it and just kind of comes to him, or is it more something he's kind of learned to grow or develop?
Virtuoso meaning like a master of your musical craft, whether that's like an instrument or your voice or even like producing music. You could be a virtuoso if you like know what you're doing and like consistently perform at a certain level. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like he's just a talented guy. His musical knowledge spans instruments, and spans different styles, and that's kind of like what metal musicians do a lot of the time, just because they're like playing crazy complex music.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
I
that's
don't
the
know.
thing. A lot of people kind of get turned off with just like the vibe or like the screaming or stuff like that. That they don't really appreciate like the technical ability and all the shit going on underneath that. And it's like growing up, my brother showed me a bunch of metal, and I was like, okay, I can like this. I didn't like the screaming, but I was like, everything in between was awesome, just because like there's so much stuff going on and super fast paced. And like for me, I connected it to fucking like psytrance because it's just like really fast, really upbeat, and just hundreds of different like very technical things all going at once. It's very unique, and it's sad that more people aren't willing to try to appreciate it just because like it comes off as oh scary, oh demonic, oh screaming, but there's more to it than that.
So much.
Yeah, I mean, in any like case, I like to say that like there's really not a style of music that's not for me or that I can't enjoy, because like in any case a music genre um inspires people to like see good in it, and then those fans of that music genre looking out to other people who don't like that genre, they're like, I don't get why these people don't like this. This is the best. And it's like all music genres are like that. All music genres are people seeing something that others might not in this form of music and then not understanding why more people don't like it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it comes with a lot of it's like ease of entry. Like there's some music like pop music and rock nowadays and stuff like that that's really easy to get into because it's kind of simplified. It's formulaic to a point that you know what you're listening to. You don't really have to like know the rhythms or know the kind of rules to be able to understand it. But then there's like more complicated stuff like certain types of metal, like progressive rock, like certain EDMs and stuff that requires a knowledge or an appreciation before attacking it. So a lot of the people that are coming from just listening to like pop rock all their whole lives, it's harder for them to make that leap, even though they could understand it. It's kind of like food is the same way, you know?
Yeah, that's true. You kind of have to like ease into liking a food. You kind of have to ease into liking a genre. That doesn't just happen if you've like never heard electronic music or never heard metal, and then just like all of a sudden one day to dive into like the most intense electronic music or the most intense metal. You know, it's just not gonna like happen that way. You kind of need to branch off from what you're comfortable with and take that active step to like push your comfort zone one step at a time, you know? Because there is really something to like in most all music genres.
Yeah. And it also helps to have like people there to explain it. Like I've done it to a lot of my friends with like psytrance. I'll be like, this is what you're listening to. This is how you dance to it. This is what you're looking for. And that usually gets a more appreciation than just sending them a weird song and they're like, I don't understand
Yeah,
it.
they're like, what?
Like if you, that's like, I guess as like a producer or someone that's making music, it's kind of your ability. That's kind of part of your job, is to like figure out how to explain this to people, you know?
Yeah, I mean, like, music isn't just in a bubble. Music is about like the experience you're having and like when and who and where you're like listening to that song. So like being at a festival with Paul and with Zack and them kind of like showing me the scene, showing me how to dance, saying, "Oh, this is a good song. I like this song. This DJ's killing it." And like getting all of that feedback about and like background about an artist or genre definitely helps. And it's like, I think that's what broke me into electronic music in the first place. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Is the whole experience of it.
That's super important. I agree. Yeah, it's like the people and the atmosphere and the time, and also like the point you are in your mindset too. Like I have a feeling I dig bluegrass music, but like I'm sure if I was at like a bluegrass festival and I was somewhere in like Tennessee and it was like 60 degrees out at night and there was like a campfire and there was just a bluegrass
You're
band
just
playing
stomping in the mud. Oh.
I'd be vibing. Like
yeah,
that's the dream right there, man.
That does sound really good.
Going? Who do we need to call?
I mean, I know of festivals, like especially Missouri has a lot of them, but there's a lot every year. There's one down kind of like Northern California that would be around you that they do every year. It's like one of the biggest in the country that I've been wanting to go to for forever. And I'm like, oh,
you know,
so
where
I'll probably
it is?
Hit you up and see if you want to join me down there sometime.
Yeah, for sure. I'm like an hour or two away from Northern California. That's where I was yesterday.
Nice.
Day trip. So let's do it, Paul. Let's go.
I'm very about it. I'm very about it. I have thought this thought many times and how much I would enjoy it. Yeah. So I'm very down.
Let's all get in the Boss Bus and head out.
Amen. The Boss Bus Bluegrass Bonanza.
Yeah. I'll bring my banjo and some sticks and we'll have some fun.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah. Going back to like what you're talking about like how like music and stuff. There's also a thing of like personal discovery. Like there's some music that I probably wouldn't have, that I didn't like, just like I liked because I found it on my own, that if someone showed me, I don't know if I'd appreciate it to the same way, or vice versa. Like there's how you discover something can also lead to that enjoyment or not, you know? See, that kind of feeds into like hipsters and stuff. Some people like stuff because it's unknown or because it's kind of this niche thing. And if it was like popular, it would lose some of its shine, you know?
Yeah, I can kind of see that because like music is really wrapped up in your identity, and you kind of like want to be the one to discover some of your songs. If you're really into music, you know, you kind of want to be the guy to show other people all the cool songs that you found.
Mm-hmm.
I get you on that. Yeah, that's why when I go to a sci festival and I see all my friends, I'm like, yeah, I'm the reason you're here, and just like point it out. That's the best, you know.
I agree. Yeah, I feel the same, especially like as like a DJ, like having like finding songs that I'm like, ooh, I don't know if I've ever heard anyone play this before, but this is really good. It's like,
yeah,
mine.
Yeah. Well, as like a DJ, that's kind of like your job, you know, because you have something to offer when your shows are different to other DJs. Otherwise, why not hire X and Y other DJs?
Yeah.
You know,
anyone can play
found a song that's
10 songs,
and you've got a set list. Then you're like more valuable as a DJ because you're playing the better music.
True.
That's what it's about. You gotta have a good music taste, and you do. I love your shows.
Oh, yeah, they're fun. True. Yeah, you got a new one coming up. When's the next show you got?
I have the next show I am playing at the Dark Hollow Electronic Music Festival at the Broke Down Palace on April 16th. It's a Friday. It's a 2-day festival. It's like $20 for the whole weekend pass, but it'll be lit. It's going to be a good time. great people. There's like 20 artists. It's my first festival. I'm excited. I'm so grateful.
It'll be fun.
Yeah, it's the first Boss Bus Festival show, so go there. It's cheap enough to witness history in the making.
Witness history in the making.
These cheeks will be clapping.
Yeah.
So get out there, support my buddy. I'm super proud of him. Good job, man.
Hey, you know, I would not have been able to do anything I've done in terms of music creation without the help of you. So you're a cheek. You froze.
I am a cheek.
Yeah, you are. You've helped me so much. And like the song I'm making now, I literally just wouldn't be able to make it without the knowledge you've given me.
You should send that to me. I kind of want to hear a sneak peek of it. Not to make your audience jealous, but
no, it's gonna tease them. You want a little teasing, like, oh, he gets to hear this song, but you don't.
Yeah,
makes you more excited for it.
It'll be good. I'm redoing the entire drop because I felt like it wasn't cool enough, but it is now going to be very cool, I think. So we'll see. But yeah, I just wanted to say thank you because you've helped so much. He's the mastermind behind. Like we created Goosebump together. We created Gengar together. We created Silverback together. The only thing that he wasn't here for because he was gone was Ghost Bear. But it's great. You've shown me so much. So thank you for that, Drew. You're a fucking beast.
Yeah, I remember sitting in that exact chair that you're sitting in now, like stooped over the table for like hours on end, just like, oh, do you want another seltzer? Yep, I'm gonna need it. Like typing away, clicking away, listening to the same part over and over again.
That's the only reason this guy exists. Cider gets me goosey.
Yes, cider gets me goosey.
Goosey. Are you ready to flock and goose? Hell yeah.
I don't like geese, but that's okay.
Yep,
you guys can like them for me.
He's eating it right. Okay. He's eating me right now.
I hit 2 geese today while I was driving out to my hiking spot. There were 2 geese on the road.
I'm sorry about that.
Good. That's us. That's us.
So outside of music and stuff, like what do you put your time in, or like what do you focus on, or what do you think about? Like what's important to you outside of music right now?
What's important to me outside of music right now? Now that it's springtime, I want to be getting out and like getting my active lifestyle back because winter kind of sucks. It's rainy and cold and gray all the time. So now that the weather's consistently nice, gonna be hiking more. I've been hiking like, I don't know, probably like 3 or 4 times a week at least, which is good.
It's good.
Besides that, I've been focusing on art a lot, which is a new ambition of mine to be like the guy who like enters into art festivals and art competitions, like tries to like sell art and like get in galleries and just like know people in the art community and like make a name for myself. So like I've been focusing on that, and I could bring the camera to show you.
I was gonna say that art. If that's all your work behind you, that's pretty.
It's insane.
Yeah, this is just my doodle board.
It's insane.
These are all just like a whole bunch of doodles. And it goes all the way up to the ceiling.
Wow, that's fun.
But I'm gonna take you into my art studio.
Ooh, you have a whole studio. Dang. Look at you.
Yeah, it's just the closet of my former roommate's room. But this skull right here is what I'm working on right now. So it's got a whole bunch of like pieces of tape that are like pixels, you know, like vertical and horizontal square type stuff. And yeah, I got some wood today that I'm gonna paint, hopefully a landscape on.
That's fun.
Yes.
That's good. That's a good outlet, and it's something that, the more you do it, the better you get at it, and put yourself out there and express yourself, not just musically, but it's like you got the visual and the audio now,
Yeah, I mean, I just love putting energy into something, learning from it, and like at the end of all of my effort having like a finished product that I can say like, yeah, that was worth it, you know? Like productive ways of spending time, developing myself, like being in the moment and like having something to share with the world when I'm done with it is just like what motivates me, brings me to music and art. It's really nice.
Mm-hmm.
That's living like Larry right there.
That is.
Like Larry, oh, you're too much.
That's cool.
Also, if anyone can't tell, that hand in his background is like life-size accurate. Like that's how much he has made art on that. Like that's
Yeah,
so
for
much
scale.
talent. Yeah, that scale is
I
massive.
think it's like pretty like
Yeah, small.
like trees and all this lettering and stuff. This big band right here is all letters, but you probably can't see that.
Nice.
Wow,
But yeah,
It's exciting.
what's new with you guys besides the festival? I heard about that. I heard about your new track now. Anything else going on that you want to tell me and or the viewers?
you know me, not really. Other than just working a lot, trying to make music when I can, spending time with Steph, hanging out with Paul, doing D&D every weekend.
Yeah.
Which we're gonna have you on sometime because that'd be really cool to have you on. It's just like a
Yeah.
I
added
can make a
character.
little side character you can play.
That'd be great.
for an episode. That'd be fun.
Yeah, we are. We're currently fighting for our lives in a Coliseum tournament because we robbed a bank because Stormy refused to fight
It
slaves.
was more than just Stormy.
It's a lot.
It was
You're
just
right.
as much your fault.
I did decide to go into the back of the bank rather than leaving. So
Yeah.
but
And then you got caught, and now you're fighting in the Coliseum as like a punishment.
Those are like slaves, yeah.
yeah, so now we are slaves, and slowly Stormy's like, all right. But other than me, I mean, what about you, Paul?
Well, I've been getting pretty good at the banjo. I can do clawhammer and bluegrass or picking style banjo. Stick season just started again, so I'm finally making sticks again. Hopefully, I can get a spot in that festival.
Dude, that'd be
the
amazing.
band.
I would shout out your. I would. Oh my goodness, I would shout out.
carry on stage.
Dude.
You just
Yes.
around with it. Other than that, just working, writing. I have 2 D&D campaigns right now, and I've also been writing a lot of short stories. Keeping my dog happy.
What are your short stories like? You have a genre?
Not really. I mean, I've written fantasy ones. I've written like psychological ones. Most of them come from like my dreams because I have these really long, kind of spooky dreams, and I learned to kind of cope with them by writing them out. And so they can go anywhere from like just like weird like slice of life things to like psychological like quests to fucking fantasy. Like it can be really anywhere in between. But I don't know. I write more about like I guess philosophies underneath all of it. Just like how can I make this philosophical idea into a story? Does it fit into fantasy? Does it fit into sci-fi? Does it fit into slice of life or stuff like that? You know.
Yeah, like how are you trying to express your idea? What's the best way to express your
Yeah. It's fun. It's a fun outlet. I've always been obsessed with storytelling and storytellers, and now having two D&D campaigns that I'm a DM of to write those stories and like have other people write them with me is really fun. And then being able to get more out has definitely been helping with that kind of stuff.
I haven't played D&D with you guys with you as the DM.
It's great.
You have fun.
Yeah, I would assume that you are like the best DM, like
I will
super
not.
creative, super smart guy who's
I'm
like,
not going to say that. I'll let you say that, but I won't agree with that. Thank you. I appreciate that. I mean, that's fun, especially with this group. It's like I have to just allow all my narrative lines to be cut at any moment because they'll just go rob a bank for no reason. And I'm like, okay, this is where the story's going now. But that's a good exercise too because it requires the improv. It requires the completely changing of stories and having multiple options available, you know.
That's kind of like That's kind of like the brain exercise that I get from jamming live, like improv with musicians. Like, there's a whole bunch of different influences in the jam circle at any given time. And at any given time, someone could make it go some way. Other people could follow like super quickly. And then, like, what am I going to do? I need to like about that quickly, respond, and like think on my feet to like any way that changes. So like that kind of helps me to like make transitions or like different arrangements more like flexibly.
It keeps you from being comfortable. It keeps you moving forward and moving rather than because you can stay in one jam forever and play those like and have fun with the same kind of like formula. But when you have that switch up, that's when you are tested, and that's when you have to like figure it out. That's when you learn the most.
Yeah, and with like production too, a lot of times it seems at first like you're not on a time limit, but in all reality you are, because your time limit is when you have an idea or when you have a sense of which way that the track's going, you need to capitalize on your decisions and like your actions to get there the fastest route possible before you lose that idea or other ideas come in and kind of like skew it in a way that like you wouldn't otherwise do. Like when you have that initial idea, that's when you should get going with it. And like you could always change it later, but if you're slow to the role and like transitioning out of a section and producing music, or if you're slow to like arrange something and layer something up, you're just going to end up being frustrated with it because nothing that you're doing is sounding like your original ideas that your like ear's imagination wants to hear. You know what I mean?
Yeah, instead of having the initial idea, you're having the memory of the idea, which loses parts or gets altered. Yeah.
So it's kind of a good thing to like exercise those quick thinking and like reaction muscles.
Yeah, it keeps you young, keeps you spry.
Yes.
You don't have all the time in the world. You gotta make art and then move on. Otherwise, you'll be like me. A big problem that I have is that I rarely finish my projects, and I'm trying to work on that. And part of that is like speed in making decisions so that it doesn't get stale on you.
Yeah, I feel like that's a lot of people have that problem where like the initial idea is so fun, but then once you get like the fun creative part out, it's a lot of grinding, and a lot of times you see other ideas that you could pin down and you get distracted from that thing. That like perseverance is very good muscle to train and something we all need to work on, especially in the world of instant gratification we have nowadays, where like you like every like just with going back to music specifically, like there's a new top 40 song every week, every month that's basically the song before, but just kind of pre-digested in a different way. And like you can do that, but and like that's simple and easy to consume. But then when you're trying to build something like unique and dynamic and special, it requires that extra effort of cleaning it up, of going through like the monotonous stuff, and it's harder to stay focused when there's so much simpler things to do, you know?
And if you could nail in how to do that quickly, effectively, and as cleanly as possible, you can put in more energy than your competitors can. Like everyone now has like a computer and a microphone and like connection to the internet, and everyone can make music, and you're really like competing with more people now in the music industry than ever before, and they're all putting in a certain amount of effort. You have like a certain bar to reach. If you pass that, you'll be successful, which requires you to like really narrow in your intention, your effort, and like go that extra mile, because otherwise like there's a billion other people doing exactly what you're doing who are going to be better than you know? Like it's more competition than ever before now, I feel like.
1,000,000%.
Yeah, the ease of entry is so easy now.
Yeah.
That it requires actual skill, but also effort. Like I guess like talent always seems to be like this thing that people just have, like this innateness. When you look at those people that are on top, you look at how much time, effort, and like how much they just put into it. That talent's only going to get you so far. It's all about what you're willing to put in and what you're willing to put up with, and how you recognize how to change. Because you can practice all day, but if you're not practicing something new or focusing on the specifics, you're not going to get better either. Like it's all about focusing. It's like it's about practicing in the right way and pushing yourselves to grow rather than stay where you're at.
Mm-hmm.
You cut out there for a bit at the end, but I heard pushing yourself to grow, and I'm gonna respond with a resounding yes. Like, if you stay focused on improving yourself, like that's really what talent is. It's not those like specific skill sets in whatever you're doing, like producing music or painting or whatever. Like when you're talented at that, it's not necessarily that you are like you have more knowledge about painting than other people. What it's really about is like your willingness to put in the hard work and sit with yourself alone and like develop a craft and like put in that blood, sweat, and tears that you need to master.
Yeah, because talent's just, I mean, that innate beginning talent is going to help you get started or going to help you like with that initial push. But after a couple years, you're going to be at the same level as other people who didn't have the initial talent.
Mm-hmm.
And then where you go from there, you got to be able to like grow from it, you know?
My friend told me this story about this guy who like went off into like a life of hermitude and silence, basically. Like didn't have anyone around him, like lived in the woods, and had to like find ways to entertain himself and like keep developing himself and like moving himself forward in order to like in order to grow, basically. And he like trained himself to do all of these crazy things with his breath, with his digestion, and like just like crazy body things. He like really figured out his body, and he like went back to society. I don't know how, if he like just voluntarily went back or if like maybe he like showed people this and they were like, oh, this is sweet, and wanted to show other people. But like he came back, people saw what he was able to do, and everybody wanted to be able to do exactly what he did. But no one in their right mind would want to spend the time in order to do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the kind of dedication that I'm talking about. Like, do extraordinary things, you need to really like understand where your time is going. Like taking that time to like improve yourself is like the path to an extraordinary talent, and you are going to get there if you put in that dedication.
That's the talent. That is the talent, is being able to focus on it. Focus is the talent. Like you can have an innate ability, but it's all about how much you're willing to put into it, how much the focus. That's all it's about. So focus up, nerds. Start figuring it out.
Focus up.
Don't let mediocrity win. That's the dream.
That is the dream.
Yeah, everyone needs to take a break and relax sometimes, but understand that taking a break is just serving your other goals. And like taking a break should be just a way to re-energize you so you can go back at it. It's not like you're going at something so you can take a break and then you take more and more breaks and don't really like, I don't know, set the bar for yourself.
But there are times when you are looking forward to a break like that. like even when it's something you love or you're passionate about, there's still going to be times where you're struggling to go through it, where you're like, I have to make music today, or I have to paint. Like, you still requires that you're not always going to love what you do, even if you love what you do. And so those breaks can be helpful in those times as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's really like a balance, because you don't want to strain yourself and you don't want to let your time go by without capitalizing on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's a certain level of progression that you can get, and then you need like some time off, because if you're at it all the time, I'm gonna run out of good musical ideas, and the music that I make is gonna sound strained and boring.
Yeah. Well, it's like working out. You need to have an off day so your muscles can get back together again, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, today was my day off. I gotta work tomorrow, but feeling all rested about it now.
That's awesome.
Heck yeah. That's what's up. Wow. Well, I think that was a fantastic conversation and a really important one, especially in regard to like creative endeavors. Is there anything else, Drew, that you would like to say to the people or give us an update on?
All I gotta say is make sure to check out my man Zack at this next music festival. Remind me where that is again.
It's the Dark Hollow Music Festival. It is at the Broke Down Palace in Omaha on April 16th and 17th. I'm playing on the 16th from midnight to 1.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, that's a good time.
It'll be good.
Midnight to 1 is a good time.
Right? It'll be fun. I'm very grateful. I'm so thankful for you, and for Paul, and for everyone. Like you guys mean the world to me. So yeah, I appreciate it.
Oh, we appreciate you too.
You're great. You too, man.
You say you wouldn't be here without him, but you wouldn't be here without you either. Better remember that.
Exactly.
Valid. That's a good point.
Healing.
I don't ever think about that. Hell yeah.
Zack.
No.
But yeah, I think that's all I need to say. I'm glad that I came on here, caught up with you guys.
Yeah.
So thanks for having me. And everyone at home, have a good night.
Heck yeah. Thank you again, Drew. It's been great. Thank you for having this.
You'll love them. Love you guys.
I love you, man. You have a great evening. You take it easy, man.
Yeah.
We love you so much.
Keep it real.
Love you too. All right.